very glad to be here in the Wisdom Park. This is my first visit to Philippines, and I'm very grateful for this invitation, and everyone in Wisdom Park, and also our brother Billy Tan, who insisted me that I should come here since last year. And thank you for hosting us and then having this opportunity to share with you a little bit of, wisdom and skills we can use in our daily life. So let us try to be familiar with some wisdom that we can learn from the teachings of the Buddha that can help us to deal with issues in our life, and mainly what we call stress. And people may have different understanding of this, but let's try to understand what we really mean by this word. So during this program, I would like to have 3 sessions. And so let us, the first session I would like to talk about the physiological changes happen with the stress and how we can deal with that, the physical part. And the second part of the workshop, let us focus on mental part, which means when we have an event, how we can deal with our interpretations and rumination, which is the fuel, the food for the stress. And then last part, we talk about the general worldview, the general mindset we can develop kind of to prevent stress from arising. The first 2 techniques are to deal with when you are going through stress. The last technique is to develop an overall mindset, overall worldview that will prevent stress from happening, at least reduce the instances of experience of stress. Okay. I would like you to take a moment to remind yourself the last time you experienced stress. Hopefully it is not this morning. Yeah. So can we take a moment actually to really think about what is the last time that I really had the experience of stress? Let's take a minute. I try to think my one. Okay. Anybody like to share? Yes, Amy? What was your last experience of stress? This morning. Okay.
But it's actually, it's pretty frequently occurring.
Situation, yeah.
Well, two nights ago, my 15-year-old son's former classmate committed suicide. And so it's been a hard couple of days for my community at school and friends. So that's probably the most stressful thing that has happened recently. But yeah, it's a frequent or common thing to be living at least a layperson's life. To have to handle
stuff. If you really think about this morning, what's the memory? Is the memory of the incident or what?
No, it was driving from 2 hours to get here.
Okay.
in traffic.
Okay. So during the traffic, so were you afraid that you will be late to the session?
People were cutting me off in the road, and there was flooding in many places.
Yeah, okay.
On
Is
the
it,
way.
yeah. So do you consider this as a stress, or you get frustrated or angry?
I feel it in my body. I feel the tightening and the contraction, and the words that come out of my mouth are also sometimes not so nice.
Yeah. So thank you, Amy, for sharing. Yeah. And of course, we experience, so many different varieties of mental states and physical states. So we can experience, anger, dislike, frustration, and stress is related to all of them, definitely. So, I just want to isolate stress so they can talk about it, from other mental and physical states. Yeah. Anyone else would like to share? What was your last experience in stress? No stress? That's good. How you experience stress right now when I ask this question? Thank you, Sister. So we can explore, what kind of things happening in our body. I'd like to share my last experience of stress. You may think that I'm a monk and therefore I don't have stress. That is not true. So my last experience of memorable stress, because there are moments of stress every time. There are some moments, but the more longer one, a more forceful one would be. It's actually I traveled to Penang, from Kuala Lumpur to Penang to conduct a program. So before I leave, so they told me that there will be one person, waiting for me in the arrival hall, because I haven't been to Penang for a long time. So I expected that. So I arrived there, and so I was, they also told me the name of the person. So I arrived and I went there, and then there was nobody. I thought that because I haven't seen the person, so but whenever they see me, I expected that they will come and talk to me, right? So I had all kind of expectations in my mind. So there was no one there, I waited. So I just make sure that I travel all over the arrival hall. So if the person is there, he will be able to see me. So no, 10 minutes passed, nobody's there. Okay. Now I didn't have a local handphone, but fortunately that airport has free internet, so I can use my phone online. But so then I was feeling, okay, now what I can do? I don't know. I can maybe take a taxi and go, but the different plan has been already made, so I don't want to disappoint them too. So now you start to feel okay. You start to feel kind of you don't have a telephone, and there's no person there, and then you feel like you are limited. So I was exploring what kind of ingredients, what kind of situation that is required for us to feel stress. One experience I had was I feel like I was limited with my ability. I don't know the place, I don't have a phone. So those are the things that usually when you feel like your capacity, your skills, your resources to deal with the situation is not enough, that's a good moment that we can feel stress. And then I went back to the right. I didn't come out. I went back, and then I was contacting the main temple in KL who sent me there. Where is the driver? Where is the person? And then they told me that they changed the plan and they have sent someone else. Okay, and then you got another stress. And then again they somehow contact that person, because I cannot contact the person directly because I don't have a local line. So it's a long way to contact the person. So I had to again use my WhatsApp to contact the person in KL. And they have found out that person has come by himself, and then so he cannot park his car. He's going round and round and waiting for me to come out, which was not the part of the plan. And then even I come out, how can I know who is the person, right? So however, actually later I came out and he waved me, and so things were okay. But for that moment, for about 10 minutes, I was experiencing tightness in the body. I was experiencing like not knowing what to do, and also experiencing powerless. So those are the moments that when we have a really difficult situation, a demanding situation, and then you interpret that as a difficult issue, demanding issue, or even like a threat, and then you also evaluate your available resources, how to handle it. Do I have time for it? Do I have enough thing to handle with it? Whenever you realize that you don't have enough time to finish whatever you have to finish, you don't have enough resources to deal with that, and then that experience can be called stress. So by reading all the literature on stress, I selected this definition. What do you think about it? Can you read this? Stress is experience when we feel that our current ability or resources to cope with the demands of a situation is not enough. Can be a difficult situation, a demanding situation, not simple situation, a demanding situation. We need to be somewhere by that particular, by particular time. And that's why we feel stressed most of the time when we're in the traffic. Because if you want to be in a particular place at a particular time, and you are in a traffic, and then if you're stuck in the traffic, there's not much you can do. Of course, you can ask ways to find all the shortcuts, but it's still, right? Yeah. But yesterday, our taxi driver said that sometimes waste is wasting time, right? but most of the time it's good, right? So we can ask, but there's not much we can do. That is why you feel, okay, what I can do? I cannot fly, but I have to be there at this time. And then when you feel like you have nothing, you can't do anything, and you have this demanding situation, then we feel like stuck and stressed. So that can lead to anger, all kind of things later. But that experience, that your whole body changes, and your mind is stuck. So, do you have any comments with this definition? Yeah. Not necessarily. Yeah, control. Maybe we don't have enough resources or ability to deal with it. Resources to deal with it. I mean, we can have a demanding situation, but when you evaluate it, okay, I have enough time to do that, or I have these things to do that, and then, I mean, we should be okay. We don't have that, feeling of stress. Because demand is difficult, but you have enough things to deal with it. But when you interpret that whatever you have is not enough, and then you feel like you can't move anymore. Any objection or any addition to this definition? All right. Talking with people who are going through stress, this is what I find in the literature, in scientific literature. But in really dealing with people who are actually going through stress, I have found that actually sometimes it's not only the demands of the situation, not only the lack of resources, but also sometimes their resentment towards the event. They don't like the situation. That dislike can also create stress. Because I have met people who they have a meeting with some people, or maybe their colleagues or whatever, and they don't like to be there, but they have to be there. And then when the meeting comes closer and closer, they also feel it's nothing to do with, they can go, no problem, they have everything, but that they have some resentment for that meeting. And then they also feel stress. There's something we need to add, but more research needed to be done. When we don't like something, we have to do it, and then we also feel stress. Okay. But nowadays we think about stress is always very bad. But of course, stress is bad when it is recurrent, when it is stay longer. But actually, stress is a kind of natural function in the body and mind for us to give more boost to do an action, right? And most of the time, if you don't feel stress, we'll be very lazy people, right? I mean, the best way to get out yourself from your bed is to have a little bit of stress. Oh, I have to do this by this time. Yeah, your laziness is gone, drowsiness is gone. You can really get some more energy and work. So sometimes we need a little bit of stress to that's okay. I mean, stress to like really make ourselves energized and get into work. But it becomes negative when that moment of stress stay longer. Like that the morning, or maybe let's say you suddenly realize that by 2 o'clock I had to give a presentation, or by 2 o'clock I had to do this, and then I better quickly do this. So you get a little bit of stress right there, and then you get into work and you finish it. That's okay, and those things kind of push us and give us energy. But if we keep that moment of stress longer, like in traffic, you stay hours, don't know what to do, and you feel like you're failing, and you can't meet that thing, and then those longer we stay in that stress mode, and then it can be really negative. And then if that happens quite often, it can be negative too. So there are a number of things that we can really contemplate here. One thing we have to remember that as human beings, because stress is common to all living beings, all animals too. But when it comes to stress, actually, it looks like animals are better than us. Truly. Huh? Why do you think it's true? Because in animals feel stress, we feel stress too. But one important difference, I'll come to that later. So read this quote from John Kabat-Zinn. Can you read that? A gazelle mobilizes a huge fight or flight reaction to escape from a lion on savanna. Once a safe distance has been attained, it goes back to quiet gazing as if nothing has happened. For us humans, it is somewhat different because we can think about what might have happened even after the immediate threat is over, and still it can drive us crazy in the process. Actually, two things. One thing not mentioned here is that usually animals get stress in the presence of an immediate threat. The immediate threat, a lion is around, tiger is around, cliff is there. So immediately, if they are visible, is immediately present, they can get stress. Animals only get stress in the presence of immediate threat. But as humans, we can get stress even though there's no immediate threat, but we can imagine one. Because as human beings, we are very good in imagination, and that has helped us actually to move forward as human beings to be separate from other species, to go to different levels, because we can visualize a situation while it is not here. We can imagine a situation when such a state is not here. Because of that, we can imagine, and we can later work towards achieving that state. And in that way, we have moved forward and forward. But this important skill that helps us to evolve has also a negative effect if we are not careful enough, mindful enough. Because we can imagine a situation and feel stress. Nothing immediately present, but we can imagine. Do you remember anything that you have done some similar thing? Like imagining a situation and we start feeling stress. What if, right? That's how we start. What if? What if? Let's say you have an important meeting with your boss or maybe with your colleagues, okay, and then they think that no, this meeting is unusual. It's not a regular meeting. What if he's going to talk about my work? What if he's not happy with my work? If he's not happy with my work, he will not give me a promotion. If he does not give me promotion, I will not be able to, pay my child to go to a good school. If that doesn't happen, I will not be a good father. And that happened, that happened, that happened, that. And now you feel stress. I'm not a good father. You just have a meeting in the afternoon. That's all. But we are very good in creating a situation. We feel stressed right here, as if we are being, condemned by others as a bad father or bad mother, whoever. So that's the difference between us and animals. Animals will never have stress to an imagined situation. And the second skill that animals have, according to this quote by John Kabat-Zinn, is that actually after the stressful event, they can completely relax and then simply roam about as if nothing happened. Right? But for us, one thing we forget to relax. When we encounter a threat, a difficult situation, threat, and you really get tense in your body, your muscle get tightened, your body is ready to react, and then of course the threat is gone, but you keep that tightness in the body. Without you knowing, your muscles are actually tightened, and then like animals can relax, completely let go. But we do not do it. We have to consciously relax our body and also consciously let go. When we do not do that without our knowing, our muscles get tightened and tightened and tightened and tightened, and later we develop different kind of pains, back pains, arm pain, whatever, all kind of pains later, because those are like already tightened, frozen, but forgot to relax. So it's really important for us to take some time to consciously relax and release. So that's physiological part. So when it comes to experience of stress, what we have to pay attention is the level of stress. If it's a minor stress, just to push us to work, that's okay. If it's so much of stress, you can really feel in your body, it's really getting you really tight muscles and heartbeat, and then it can be negative. And how long it lasts and how often it occurs. Does it occur a few times a day? And that can be a really cause for many health issues in our life. And of course now there are enough studies to show us that stress is the main cause for many illness that we experience today, and even to the cancer. Yeah. So if this happens like this, we really need to pay more attention and learn how to deal with this situation. So the key points to remember so far, it's actually stress is a reaction occurring in our body. Our body is getting ready to react to a situation. So our digestion is stopped for a while because we need more blood, more energy to other parts of the body. So our digestion has stopped. We have more blood for us to help us to run or fight. So it's this whole physiological changes happening, and of course we have more cortisol in the blood. So much changes. So it's mainly a physical changes, but it occurs in response to a demanding situation. But actually, the gravity, the main key part, actually our mind's assessment of the situation. That's the key there. We assess the situation consciously or unconsciously. We mentally assess the situation, and then of course it has to be demanding situation, and then our body reacts. So there are three parts to here. Of course, the external situation, can be demanding situation, our mental assessment, and our bodily reaction. So there are three parts to this that we have to handle. So I think this is a little bit more detailed, but we don't have to go there. But one other thing going to happen in us actually, once we experience a stressful situation, once we have a certain reaction to that, later this reaction can become a habit in us. That is where we may experience stress quite often, even there's no immediate threat visible to us, and even a subtle situation, a simple situation can trigger the internal habits. So first we have a demanding situation, an unexpected event, and then of course we encounter that event through our listening or hearing or seeing or feeling, our sensory organs, we experience that situation, and then we assess that situation, we make a judgment, we make an interpretation, and then based on our evaluation, if you interpret that you have not enough resources, enough time to handle it, and then you get the stress reaction. And then what's really happening then later, that stress reaction can also condition our mind to develop that kind of habitual patterns. So next time, you don't have to have an immediate threat. Maybe some sign of it is enough. Maybe you had an accident, and that's a stressful situation. You really experience stress, or your body reacted, and you somehow deal with that. And next time when you see a similar car running, and then that is enough for you to activate the whole stress reaction in your body. So when you have a difficult conversation, with your family members, or with your relative, with your neighbor, you somehow handle it, it was a difficult situation, handle it, and next time when you see that person, now maybe the problem is solved, but when you see that person, seeing that person can create that whole stress reaction in you. You may never know, that person may not really, have a similar argument with you again, maybe sometime, but we can change it. But simply seeing that person can activate whole stress reaction. That's what we really have to be careful, because most of the time we experience stress not to the immediate actual threats actually, what we call perceived threats. And that can trigger our habitual reaction to stress, and it can become a habit. And that's where we really want to stop is from happening. So there are two quotes, how our mind is important in this case. So David Pawson said that we react not to the situation but to our thoughts about the situation. That doesn't mean the situation has nothing to do with it. But the key part is our mental evaluation, our judgment, our interpretation. So we actually respond to that, our evaluation of the mind. Not necessarily the situation, but situation is an important part of it. And then John Kabat-Zinn explains that how the reaction can be a habitual pattern, automatic pattern in us. So we don't even need a stressful situation. It's simple trigger, simple thing can create such a stress. Our habitual and automatic reactions to the stressors we encounter determine in large measure how much stress we experience. So the more research they have done on stress, the more is going to the part of the mind. It doesn't deny that situation is important, but actually it's more to the mind. So three problems. As human beings, we have three problems to handle. Let's try to do something. Our inability to relax after a stressful situation. We don't pay attention to that, so for animals it automatically happens. For us, we have to consciously do it. So our inability. The second one is, sometimes our interpretation of the incident is invalid. But the problem is that we do not really question our interpretation. That is one human weakness actually. For some reason, whatever occurring in our mind, we tend to believe that they are true. Right? We tend to believe that whatever occurring in our mind, is true. It's not necessarily the case, right? But we have that bias. So, whenever we interpret a situation as a threat, as a demanding, whenever we interpret that our resources are not enough, and then, so sometimes our interpretation can be valid, so then we really have to pay attention, but they can be invalid too. And then we really have to pay attention. And the second one is actually the rumination, again the imagination. And then, because the most of the time what really creates the stress is not necessarily the actual demanding situation that we have to face in, but thinking about it. Oh, I had to do that, I had to do that, I had to do that. If you really confront the situation and do it, maybe it's not that difficult. But when you think about it beforehand, it can be that stressful, right? Maybe you had to do, a big thing this afternoon if you think about it more. So our rumination actually can create more stress than the actual situation that we have to handle. And then this third problem is that unconscious habitual patterns that we develop after experience of stressful situation for a number of times, and then we develop the habitual patterns, and then simple trigger can cause us to experience stress. I have an interesting story about how rumination can create stress, so it can help you to understand and then help you as a guide. There's a story about one man in a village who left his home early in the morning to go to see his relative in a faraway place. So he left early in the morning. He was walking with a torch in his hand, and he's walking along a bank of a river early in the morning, not bright yet, because he had to make a long journey, so he left early in the morning. So when he was using his torch and walking along that road, and suddenly his foot slipped, and he was rolling along the bank. He was rolling towards the river from the bank of the river. So he flipped, and now he's rolling and rolling and rolling, and he was trying to grab anything. Fortunately, he was able to grab a branch of a tree. So he really didn't, fell all the way to the river. He grabbed to the branch of the tree, but because of this weight of the body, the branch of the tree actually bent all the way and just stopped right above the river. He was holding into the branch very tightly. He was so glad he was able to, grab the branch. But when he looked down, he can see still the moon was there, the shining water. So he grabbed into the branch and holding into the branch, and then now he's thinking what I can do now. So we had to now know way. You had to wait until the sun come out, and maybe somebody will pass by, then he can help. So now he's holding into the branch. In the beginning it was okay, but longer he hold into the branch, and it become more painful and painful in all his arms. Start to feel pain, and then he look down, he see the shining water. The more he looked down, now he's thinking about, oh, who knows what is in this water. So he ruminates. This water should be really deep. If I fall into this water, oh, I'll be swept away, going deep into a pit. Who knows, there'll be like sharp rocks right there. If I fall into this river, oh, I'll be, have all the wounds everywhere. And moreover, who knows that there are crocodiles in this, river. So the more he looked in the river water, he was having all kind of thoughts, all the sharp rocks there, and the crocodiles, everything. The more he think about it, more he grab into the branch. But longer he stay in the branch is painful. It start to sweat, because you can't hold it to something for long. It start to sweat and sweat and sweat. Nothing else to do, and then he's almost like fainted now, loses all energy. But by that time, the sun has still come out, and slowly the environment is becoming clear and clear. He was quite happy because someone will come. When everything is clear, he simply again, for one more time, looked down the water and actually realized that water underneath him was only a few inches deep. Once he realized that, He simply let go of the branch and safely landed on the river. And he was slowly walking. Nobody came to help him. But because he had that thought that this water could be really deep, there can be crocodile, there can be sharp rocks here, and he was holding into that branch more and more and more. Most of the time our stress, our stressful situation is about our rumination. What could have happened? What if this happened? What if this happened? What if this happened? If we really confront the situation, of course it can be challenging, but we could have actually done it without much, stress. The more we think about it in advance and ruminate, and because we are so good in imagining the worst, like this person, he could have thought about many other things, but he imagined the worst, that this water should be really deep, all kind of dangers, and he had no choice. But when the sun came out, he was able to really let go. So next time, whenever you experience stress, remember this story and just do a secondary evaluation of your interpretation. Yeah, but that's the second one. But before that, I would like to deal with the first one, our inability to relax after a stressful situation. Sometimes even when we ask people to relax, we do not know how to relax. So I would like to do some few exercises actually that can help us to actually purposely relax and the areas in our body that we usually tighten during stress. Okay, so would you like to do some few exercises to relax your body? Okay, so initially we will purposefully tighten our muscles and then we will drop and relax. And then later we will sit down and pay attention to different parts of the body and consciously relax our body. Okay? Can you do that? So maybe we have to move our chairs a little bit and then we stand up for a while. Okay, if you like, you can come to the middle and don't have to worry about the chairs or the tables. And go behind, you spread out. Yeah. So as you remember, which areas in your body that you feel tightened when you feel stress? Okay. Shoulders, chest area, sometimes even, jaw. So those are the areas we need to relax. But let's try to, tense our body first and then purposely relax, and then we know how it feels like to relax. It's more like dropping, more like loosening and dropping. So what we are going to do, so with the breathing in, we are going to have a tight fist, and we are going to shrug our shoulders, and we are going to clench our teeth and tighten everything. Okay, tighten our facial muscle, tighten our face, tighten our shoulders, everything tight, 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 tight. And when you breathe out, we drop everything, relax, and feel the relaxed muscles. Okay? Okay. Okay, tighten your fist, breathing in. Tighten the fist, shrug your shoulders, clench your teeth, breathing in. Tight, 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 tight. Hold your breath, tight everything, everything tight, and then draw, relax. Okay, again, next in breath. Tight your fist, shrug your shoulders, clench your teeth, tighten every muscles in the face, everything tight, 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 and draw. Breathe out. Relax everything, drop everything. Okay, again, breathing in, tight fist, shrug shoulders, clench teeth, tight, 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 draw, breathing out. Shrug your shoulders, drop your shoulders, everything. Few more times, again, tight fist, shrug the shoulders, clench teeth, very tight, 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 and drop your jaw, drop your shoulders all the way back, Relax your fingers. Feel the relaxed muscles. Okay. One more time. Breathing in. Tighten the fist, shrug the shoulders, clench the teeth. Everything tight, 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 tight. And breathe out. Drop everything. Drop the jaw, drop the shoulders, drop the hands. Relax the fingers. Take a moment to experience all the sensation you can feel in the body now. Try to see the difference between tight muscles and relaxed muscles. When you breathe out, try to relax more muscles. When you breathe out, you can drop any tightness in the body. You can allow any muscles to loosen, get relaxed. Let your hands hang by themselves. Okay, let us do one more movement to again experience the tightness of the body and relax the body. And this is called actually in yoga also, this is called mountain pose. Okay, and what we are going to do actually, we want to tighten our thighs and also below thighs, what you call biceps, right? Huh? Calves, yeah. We are going to tighten our calves. How you can do it actually? So one way we can do it, you spread your feet about 1 foot apart, and right here, like if you push your knee a little bit inward, right, you can feel all the muscles engage in the calf, right? One other way, do you feel it? Like you try to push your knee inward. Push, push, push. Inward. Inward. Push. Do you feel the tightness of the muscle? Other way you can do it actually, you can try to like turn your knee towards each other. You don't really turn, but you try. Can you try to turn your knees towards each other? Now you can feel all the biceps, all the calf is engaged, or the muscles are tightened. Do you get that? Huh? Yeah. Try to push your knee a little bit towards inside, or you can try to turn knees towards each other. You can try, and then in that effort, your muscles get tightened. Okay, what we are going to do it actually, so I'm turning, you can see it. So you are going to do a little bend of a knee in the first, and then when you breathe in, you can tighten your muscles in your calf and the thighs, like turning the, like making an effort to turn the knees, everything, and you feel all the muscles in the calf and thighs are tightened. So keep that tightened muscles over there. And then with the next in-breath, we shrug our shoulders. Breathing out, we spread our both hands to the back and try to stretch our hands and the palms and stretch as much as possible and release the breath. And now, don't lose the tightness of your muscles in the legs. Keep them tightened and all the body is tightened. Okay, take a few breaths here. Feel how your chest is rising, all the muscles are engaged. Second breath. Take the third breath, fully fill your lungs with fresh air. When you breathe out, relax your hands and let go of your thighs, tighten all the muscles, relax everything. Simply, gently bend your knee a little bit and relax all the muscles there. Feel the relaxation of the body. Let us do a few more times that mountain pose, okay? So, breathing in. Tighten the muscles in the thighs and try to push the knees and tighten everything over here. Breathe out. And next, breathing in, shrug your shoulders. And breathing out, stretch the muscles, stretch the hands, the backward, stretch your fingers, everything tighten, tighten, release the breath. Keep the tightened muscles. You can relax your toes, but tighten everything there. And take a few breaths here. Breathing in, like a mountain. Release the breath. Another breath. Feel the tight muscles everywhere in your shoulders, in your arms. And the third breath. And this time when you breathe out, we drop our shoulders, the arms, and also relax our leg. We relax our knees, bring it a little bit forward, and experience relaxed muscles there. Take a moment to go over your body and feel the relaxed muscles tighten and the relaxed muscles gently relaxing, loosening, freeing. Let's do one more time the same exercise. You're breathing in, bending your knees, tighten everything tight, and breathe out. Keep the tight muscles in the thighs, in the calf, everywhere. And next, breathing in, shrug your shoulders. Breathing out, push your arms to the back and stretch your hands and the fingers. Release the breath, tighten everything there. Okay, now we freely breathe in. Breathe out. Feeling the stretch and tight muscles everywhere in the body. Take the next breathing in. Release it. Take the next third breath. And this time when you release, drop your hands, shoulders, relax your muscles in the thigh and the calf. Relax your knees. Let your hands hang by themselves. And feel all the subtle sensation you can feel all around your body. In your arms, in your palms, even at the tips of your fingers. With every breath, you can let all the muscles to relax. With every out breath, try to drop all the tight muscles in the body. Okay, so I hope that we relax some of the muscles, we tighten them and relax. You can also do this while sitting down, and when you sit down, we can relax our belly muscles, right? So most of the time when we get stressed, we actually tighten our belly, we push our belly, and then we keep it there. We don't really push it all the way. And then, of course, now in our present culture, people don't like belly. They try to hide their belly, right? It's beautiful belly, right? Why you want to hide it? so because of that also, people try to keep it hide, you know. So in relaxation, you really have to let your belly to come forward. Let it drop to the front. You know, just let it come to the front and, you know, just drop it. And that's the best way to relax. So we can do it when we sit down also. Okay, now let us do a few exercises while we are sitting down. Okay. Okay, let us try to keep our chin somewhat parallel with the earth, so that you not relax fully until the way that you fall asleep. Let us take time to use our breath to relax all the muscles in the body. So now we can purposely take few long breaths to fill our lungs and experience the breath, and later we can use our natural breath to relax our body. So let us take long deep in breath, fill your lungs. And release it slowly. Slowly letting go of the breath, one by one, one by one. Let's take the next breath again, feeling our lower abdomen, the middle part of the chest, and the upper chest. Try to feel 3 parts of the lungs. Breathing in, filling your lower lungs. Keep on breathing, middle lung. Keep on breathing, the upper lung. And then release slowly. Okay, takes one more such long breath. Breathing in, fill your lower lungs. Keep on breathing, fill your middle lungs. Keep on breathing, fill your upper lungs just below your neck. And then slowly release it. Okay, now we can let the natural breath to occur. Every out breath is an opportunity for us to relax our body. Let us purposely relax different parts of our body. We can start with our face. When we breathe out, we can relax our eyebrows. We can drop our eyebrows, relax our forehead. If there are any ripples in between your eyebrows, you can simply try to push your eyebrows a little bit apart. If you feel your eyebrows a little up, you can simply drop them to down. Gentle drop of your eyebrows. Relax in the forehead. Relax in the eyes. Relax in the muscles in between the eyebrows. And then in your next out breath, you can relax your facial muscles. You can drop your jaw inside your mouth. Gentle drop of your jaw inside the mouth. No need to tighten them. Gentle drop of your tongue and the jaw inside the mouth. We can further relax our facial muscles by inviting a gentle smile. Very gentle smile, just pushing the 2 edges of our mouth. Gentle smile, relaxing all the muscles in the face. Then we can relax our shoulders. We can actually drop our shoulders further. When we breathe out, purposely drop your shoulders to the sides. Gentle dropping. We can relax our chest muscles. Again, when we breathe out, we can let our chest to drop. No need to hold anything there. Simply dropping our chest. Now we come to our belly, so much relaxed there. No need to hold anything in your belly. When you breathe out, you can freely let go of your belly. You can freely let it come forward and drop your belly to the front. Don't hold anything. When you breathe out, let it drop all the way to the front. So now you can take a moment to go around your body and find any place that you feel some tightness, some discomfort, maybe around your neck, around your back, anywhere. Just go around your body, try to find a place where you have some tight muscles, some tensed muscles. And we can use our out-breath. We pay close attention to that area. And we take a long, deep in-breath. When you breathe out, we allow that area to relax, release. With each out-breath, keep relaxing, keep releasing, loosening, dropping, letting go. Okay, you can gently open your eyes and complete your exercise. Okay, feel relaxed body. So we need to do it at least, maybe once a day, because throughout the day we keep on tightening, holding, shock. So we keep tightening, and we don't necessarily relax them. So at least once a day we should have a short moment, go through our body and relax. That can really have a lot of health benefit, and that can help us so much. But again, so this is what we can do to relax our body, but the key is our mind, how our mind is interpreting. So I would like to go to other parts quickly. And so here I would like to bring some quote from the Buddha. And most of the time, the way we interpret our situation, particularly not being able to actually be in the present moment. Most of the animals live in the present moment, and so they only feel the threat of the immediate situation. But because we have this tendency of going to past memories again and again, we should learn from what happened. But simply like chasing and going after again and again, creating problems, and of course imagining the worst in the future. So we have this quote from the Buddha: "You shouldn't chase after." I think there's a problem here. Yeah. You should not chase after the past or place expectation on future. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't plan. But having specific expectations is creating problems. You can plan, but so you shouldn't chase after the past or place expectation on future. What is past is left behind, future is as yet unreached. Whatever quality is present, you clearly see right here and right there. So in a way, kind of, training our mind to bring in the present most of the time, having the lesson of the past, understand it's gone forever. Now, whenever we remember something, we feel like they're actually happening again. Simply because we remember something means that it has happened, it's gone forever. It's never going to happen in the same way again. Maybe, similar things, but not again. So remember that it's gone. Gone forever is only a memory. And then about projections about future. So you understand, okay, I haven't gone there yet. Let me go there and then face it. Just remind ourselves and be in the present moment. It's a kind of exercise, kind of training we have to learn. Like having the past and future in the light, not really holding it tight, but main focus in the present. So, and then there's also another one with regard to rumination. Buddha says, if you like a broken bell, you shouldn't reverberate. Then you have attained the perfect place. No hostility is found in you. How the broken bell? And this has water. So, when the bell is not broken, when you hit, we can hear the reverberation go in and go. It's beautiful, it's nice. In case of bell, it's nice. But in case of mind, it may be not nice. If something happened, we reverberate again. Broken bell means actually when you hit, that's all. No echo, no reverberation, just the hit, just what it is. So Buddha asks us to make our mind a broken bell. Only the actual situation, not more than what it is. Okay, so there are a few other quotes, but I think I will pass quickly. I really want to deal with the mental part. Our interpretation of the situation can be invalid, our rumination can be unnecessary. So this is the mental part we have to deal with. So we always have to learn to reevaluate our thoughts. Don't simply believe that whatever occurs in our mind is always correct. Because our interpretation of the situation can be invalid. Maybe it's not a threat. Maybe a person who had an argument yesterday is coming again. You see that person, and you quickly interpret, oh, he's going to argue with me again. Maybe not. Maybe not. We really have to reevaluate. And sometimes rumination can be invalid, just like that person who is hanging so hard onto the branch. We can be like that. So learning to watch our thoughts and not identify with them, it's a really important exercise to watch our own thoughts. That's another one we are going to do, watching our own thoughts. So the breath can be a very important tool to break these thought patterns. And I'm going to talk more about this, because afternoon also we have a talk about breath. So I'm not going to talk much about breath now. But so this is a quote. So the best way to break our cycles of thought, because once we start rumination, it can go riot, thinking, like one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. So you always feel, usually if you really only have fantasies, that's good. Not really good, but fantasy. But most of the time, we imagine the worst. We can ruminate the worst case scenario again and again. And the one way to break that cycle, once we start, it's almost like addictive. We can keep thinking. One way is to come back to the breath. Breath is always in the present moment. And okay, I'm here. So use the breath as an anchor to come back. And then learning to watch our own thoughts without identifying with them. Actually also, although we say that we think, we don't really think most of the time. Because when we say I think or we think, we have that sense of agency that almost like, we purposely think. Do we really do it most of the time? Most of the time, actually, thoughts occur to us. We don't really think in the sense that, okay, I want to think this, now I'm thinking this. I don't want to think that, I'm not going to think about that. Can you do that? Not really. Right? So in most of the time in our experience, actually, thoughts simply occur to us. Only in meditation, maybe you have some directed thoughts, you purpose thinking. Other times, simply thoughts keep coming to us, based on what we see, what we experience, and also based on our habitual tendencies. Our thoughts are our habits, actually. The way we think is actually a result of a habit. So that's the reality. So therefore, once in a while we should kind of separate from ourselves, create a distance with our thoughts and start to watch our own thoughts. We can watch our own thoughts. That's a very important skill we all have. We can call it mindfulness or awareness. Other than thinking, we can also have ability to watch our own thinking. That's a very special human ability, to watch our own thinking. That is why we call Homo sapiens sapien. Right? I think our species is not simply Homo sapien, right? The most evolved one right now, we are Homo sapiens sapien. We have two sapiens, which means we are not only thinking beings, but we can also know that we think. The sapiens sapien. We not only know, but we can also know we can know. Like we can be aware that we are thinking. But most of the time we don't use the second sapien part. We are only Homo sapien. We don't use Homo sapiens sapien part. Because sapiens sapien means we can, not only we can think, but we can also become aware that we are thinking. That's the most important skill we have. We need to grow it. We have that potential, we may not necessarily grow it. So we can start watching our own mind. What is in my mind? We can ask that question. Right now, in this moment, in this second, what is in your mind? What you are exactly thinking now? Can you get it? Just take a second. What is in your mind right now? In this second, what you have? What this Bhante is going to say next, or whatever. So you can get that, right? Maybe memory. You can watch it. You can watch. If you want, you can turn attention and watch. What is in my mind? What I am thinking now? You can ask that question and watch it. So we should learn and train that skill. The more we watch it, the more we become good at it. And then we can treat our thoughts, our emotions like visitors. That they come and go. We don't have to be with them all the time. We don't have to identify ourselves with them all the time. They're simply coming and go like clouds in the sky. Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese monk, said that feeling come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor. And our awareness is like our sky. And our thoughts can be like clouds. They can come and go. We can sit back and watch our own clouds appearing and forming and disappearing. So that's the second exercise I would like to do. So maybe we can do 2 minutes exercise, watching our own thoughts. Okay? So what you are going to do, you are going to watch your own mind and try to identify how many thoughts will visit you within 2 minutes. Okay? So I'm going to watch the clock. Okay? So you are going to simply sit down and you are not going to stop any thoughts from occurring. You are going to give full freedom. Okay, mind, you can have any thoughts you want to have. You can have any violent thoughts, you can have any fantasy, you can have any whatever thought you, wholesome or unwholesome. You are not going to stop any. You are going to give full freedom. Yes, Amy? You are going to watch your mind, and when you do that, so you are going to watch our thoughts. When you watch your mind, thoughts are shy to come. If no thoughts, you can watch your breath. But our main goal is not to watch the breath. Our main goal is to watch the mind watch the thoughts, waiting for the next one to occur. And if the waiting time is longer, you can watch your breath. Okay, imagine that, like you have gone to a pool in the forest. That's your mind. You are going to sit at the bank, okay? And that's your mind, okay? The pond is your mind. You are going to sit in the bank of your mind, and you are going to watch who are the animals who are going to come to this pond now. Yes?
If there are no thoughts coming and thinking that, oh, there hasn't been thoughts for a while, that's a thought, isn't it? And then, oh, now I'm going to watch my breath. That's another thought.
Another thought. Yeah, yes. And then if you have no thoughts, then you can watch the breath. So but of course we will have many thoughts, but there can be intervals between that. But the moment you realize that there are no thoughts, it's also again thought again. But you will begin to experience the space between thoughts. That's a different exercise. Space between thoughts. Those are so peaceful. But right now, first we have to recognize the thoughts. So your mind is the pond. You are going to sit in the bank, and isn't it interesting? What will be our next thought? Are you not interested to know what will be your next thought? Can be anything. Cannot predict. Can be anything. And what will be your next thought? Like different animals can come to this pond. You can have fox coming. You can have different snakes coming. You can have all kinds of different animals coming. So be curious. What would be the thoughts visiting your mind now? So for 2 minutes, adjust your posture a little bit and keep your chin somewhat parallel with the earth. Relax. We are going to simply watch our mind. If you can, just remember how many thoughts will occur in your mind within 2 minutes. I'm going to watch the clock. Okay. Start now. Simply watching the mind, whatever thoughts, memories, intentions, let them occur. Do not continue any one of them. Do not choose, do not favor any one of them. Simply keep on watching. Recognize, acknowledge, and wait for the next one. Simply watching them without involving with any one of them, or thinking further about them. Simply watching. Okay, 2 minutes have passed. Anybody has any surprising thing came to mind? Roughly how many thoughts? 10? 20? 50? So were you able to watch them, create distance and keep watching them? Did you able to do that? Sometimes you like to think about them, right? And no, I'm not supposed to do that. You come back, right? So that ability to watch the thoughts so important. That can save our life. Because any moment you can have any emotion, any thought, any memory, and that keep thinking and running in your mind, but you can actually step back and watch. And thoughts will still run for a while, but as long as you watch them, they cannot run. And you can actually now have a secondary evaluation. Is this thought really valid? Right now we can't do it because we cannot distance ourselves from the thought. So, but when you develop that, you can do it. That can really help us so much. Okay, so I would like to, I was also thinking about, what's the time? Is the lunch ready? What I'm going to say next, all kind of thoughts. Yeah. So, so keep on watching them, not without really thinking, how I'm going to have lunch, or I'm going to downstairs or upstairs. I don't think about that, just keep on watching. So, and then the last one is actually developing a mindset to prevent stress from occurring in the first place. For that, this is really important. Lesson we can learn from the Buddha is actually this 3 marks of reality. For the talk about the 3 marks of reality, when you really, digest this, really, get into your mind very thoroughly, you can actually be free from many of the stress you are going to have in your life. 3 marks of existence: impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, non-self. But nothing in this world is permanent. So everything is in a flow. Whatever is arising is actually passing away. So if anything has arising in the world, it's definitely that is also in the process of passing away. Nothing has arising in the world has been there forever. Very arising is also actually beginning of the passing away. So if anything arising, anything is passing away. So anything in our life, if has arisen, has come into being, is also in the process of going to decay. That's nature. So everything is in a flow. So we really need to understand that nothing is fixed. No entities in the world. Actually, there are no things in the world. There are only processes. There are only flows. So everything is like a river. So no fixed entity. So understanding that, and also understanding that nothing can actually, can fully satisfy us in that way. Like nothing can be, we cannot rely on anything to fully satisfy our mind. So everything has some imperfection, some weakness. So nothing is perfect in that sense. Only our mind can be perfected. Only our understanding and our love can be perfected. Nothing else can be perfected. So expect that. Don't be surprised when you see imperfections. Don't be surprised when you see weaknesses. That's the way they are. Imperfect. And then non-self means we can't own anything. We cannot control anything fully. That's the real meaning of non-self. It doesn't mean that that's nothing, but we cannot control, we can't own anything in the real sense. You may think that you own your body, but by now, if you pass 30, you realize that it's really not yours. You cannot really control the way you want, right? You may think that your children belongs to you. If they are teenagers, you already know that they are not really, you cannot really own them in the true sense. You really cannot control them. But that doesn't mean that we can't influence others. But we can really help, we can support, we can assist, but we really cannot own or control anything in the world. And how that, be humble. And that's the nature. So, no fixed entities, everything is in a flow. Everything is subject to change. This is a quote from the Buddha. It's like a river. If we expect it, so stress come from our expectation that is in opposition to reality. We want things to be permanent. We want things to be perfect. We want things to be in our control, which is right in opposite to the actual nature of reality. To no wonder we experience stress, because our mindset is right in opposition to the way things are. So we really have to remind this reality again and again: impermanence, unsatisfaction, imperfection, and non-self, not owning, and that is a reality. And the more we are in line, in okay with that, the more we feel relaxed. So there's a quote from the Dhammapada, important Buddhist text: all conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees with this wisdom, one turns away from suffering, from stress. This is the part of purification. In simple term, actually, this is the radical acceptance of 3 marks of reality. If we can understand nothing is permanent, nothing is perfect, nothing is personal, means we can't own, and it's completely okay. There's no problem with that. It's completely okay. Just nothing is permanent, nothing is perfect, nothing is personal, and it's completely okay. And this is hard, this is a hard acceptance to do. But we can gradually reflect it and come close to this. We may not completely in this acceptance, but we can come closer to it. The more closer we are, more relaxed we are. So if we have this understand, nothing is permanent, nothing is perfect, nothing is personal. So when we even see imperfection in others, imperfection in our situation, in our own work, we can relax. We have this sickness of being perfect, which is not possible. We have to forgive yourself, understand that, and that, this is ordinary human being, and sometimes we may not be perfected. And also, we have to allow unexpected situations to occur. If you plan a situation, you may plan a situation, you plan everything, but remember, always give some room. At least 20% of the event you are planning going to be unexpected things. If you always expect 100% to occur, you will feel so much stress. If 80% is the way you plan, oh, you are such a great success rate. Always allow 20% going to be unexpected. People turn out, things happen you don't expect. But have that room in first hand, before. Have that room in your mind. I have planned this event, this is how things are going to be happen, but I know there will be 20% of unexpected things. Have that preparedness in the mind. Have that room. So when things happen, you will react, you will find ways to solve these problems, but not feel real stress. But that is nature. That's how you have to give that room. So not taking things personally in shorthand, taking life less seriously. Yeah, so expect everything. And one important thing is that actually, one way we really feel stressed is that when we give so much value to one incident. If I miss that deadline, oh, life is going to be over, right? If you don't do that, do this. If I do not do this task properly, and whole my life going to be ruined. We give so much value to one incident. If I perform well, if I don't perform well, and this will be over. So actually, no single incident can change the whole life. But we give so much value to one incident, and then we feel so much stress. That is why our innocent kids are feeling so much stress because the exam. Because we teach them, if you fail this exam, you fail. You ruin your life, which is not true. We shouldn't give that, weight. One single incident cannot ruin anything. We always there's other chances. So like one incident, we're so close, we think that that's the whole thing, so we don't see anything else. So we really have to okay, it's there, but I can see other things too. So they give the proper place. So the last one, we won't be stuck in the same situation forever. No matter how hard it is, no matter how challenging it is going to change. No incident is going to be there forever. There can be difficult physical condition, there can be difficult financial condition, there can be difficult relationships. There can be real difficult, but nothing going to be there forever. Because by law of impermanence, even our headaches are impermanent. They are going to change. So when you are going through that difficult situation, just have that insight in the back of your mind. Yes, this is difficult, I have to deal with, but I know that this is not going to be there forever. Just have that trust. It will be easy for you to deal with the situation. So this too will pass. That's a good mantra you can say all the time. Okay, that's what I had to share today. And thank you very much for your attention. Brother, do you have time for questions? Yes.
Sifu, thank you very much for the wonderful lesson. I did really learn a lot, but obviously I'm in a lot of stressed lately. So my question is, this came from the book. Actually, it was a book. I get it from here. It's a free, no, you can get it. How to Live Without Fear and Worry by K. Sri Damananda.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's a very good book. Although this particular chapter or no, is under the right speech, but my question is on the more wisdom. And let me share just a piece of story. It is the fox who had the cold. Once there was an old lion who was very hungry, but he was too weak to go out hunting. However, he had an attendant, a fox, who had served him for many years. Now, the lion was desperately hungry and decided that the only thing he could do was eat the fox. But being the king of the beasts, he could not very well just pounce on the fox. So he decided to find an excuse to kill his faithful attendant. He called the fox to him and said, "Fox, I'm going to ask you a question which you must answer truthfully. If you don't give the right answer, I will kill you. Tell me, am I pleasant smelling or foul smelling?" Fox clearly saw the trap. If he said the lion was foul smelling, the lion will be insulted and kill him. If he said the lion was pleasant smelling, he would be called a liar and would get killed anyway. So the fox thought carefully and replied, "Master, I am afraid you asked the question at the wrong time. You see, I'm suffering from a very bad cold, and my nose is black, so I really cannot tell you how you smell. In fact, I'm worried that I will pass my cold on to you. So out of concern for your health, I'm going to leave you and go far away from you." The wise man knows how to get himself out of a tricky situation by saying the right thing at the right time. So my question is this. I always have a lot of situation like this kind when you have this kind of situation, but you don't know what to do. Can we cultivate the wisdom like this fox? Or if yes, how? Thank you.
Yeah. I think that we wish that maybe not in the same situation very often as the fox. It is a real difficult situation for him to find a way out. But I think most of the time we are not in that critical situation. But occasionally we may end up being in that situation. But most of the time we may in the situation that we can easily handle. Easily handle by re-evaluating our interpretation, our judgment of the situation. And then, that's really important to re-evaluate and then lower our level of expectations, and then we adjusting our likes and dislikes so we can handle it. But occasionally we may come up with, this kind of situation. I think, we can develop that wisdom, but maybe we have to know more about our human mind. Yeah, if you know more of the working of the human mind more and more, and you get more empathy, you get more wisdom to how to deal with, other people. When a person is angry, if you really know what it means to be angry, exactly what are the conditions that make person angry, and if you meet an angry person, now you know to alter some of the conditions and then change the person. So what's going to happen, more we know about our workings of the human mind, more we know how to deal with other people. Because so you understand how but you can understand the working of the human mind with your own experience, examining your own mind, but that can help us to understand others' mind too. So if a person is angry, and then the people, their anger can be stronger and stronger if you feed the anger, by giving more fuel, more food. But if a person is angry really and is telling you something, and if you can be a patient listener, really giving your ear and really showing the person and really paying attention to that person, and then that person may eventually say whatever he has to say, and then is speechless after a while, because you don't give anything back to the person. But then, of course, not ignoring, but really listening. So I think the more we know the workings of the mind, more we get wisdom to deal with any difficult situation. Yeah. It's a science of mind. Yes.
Bhante, Andrew Grove of Intel said, "Success breeds complacency. Complacency breeds failure. Only the paranoid survive." So, how do you comment on this?
Okay. So yes, brother, there's a danger that we become complacent when things are really going well, you know, and then but the idea that only paranoid will survive, I think it's little extremist, because I think all the paranoids have not survived. I mean, of course, you know, we need. I mean. Okay, in the process of evolution, we tend to remember more negative things than the positive things, because, you know, then next time when a threat is coming, we can save our life. But, you know, those paranoid state of the mind was really helpful when we were living in the jungles among the tigers and lions and all kind of natural threats. Because you better interpret a rattling of a bush as a tiger rather than a wind, because then you have better chance of saving your life. If you misinterpret a tiger as a wind, and that's the end of your life. But, you know, now we have come a long way as a human species. So now I think we have now our whole the very tendency that help us to survive, which is negativity bias. Remembering the negative things and forgetting the positive things. And that very tendency has now actually working not to our own well-being, to create more, you know, problems for us. I think we need to be aware, we need to have carefulness for the negative things, but I think we are doing too much. So I think we need to kind of come to balance. The whole idea of the paranoid will only survive, that is, we are in the survival mode. If you're always in the survival mode, we are always in the stressful mode, and that's not the well-being. So we have to come out from the survival mode onto more mode of well-being. So, I mean, most of the threats are gone now. It's now our threats could be our social relationships, you know, many other things. So it's important for us to remember the threats and be prepared for that, but I think most of the time we imagine threats more than we really need to. So we are exercising our negativity bias more than we really need in the present situation. So we need to kind of balance it. So I may not agree with the praise that only paranoids will survive.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Father.
My question is, how can you train your thoughts or thinking, the way of thinking, if you are old enough, 70 years old or something, because of your experience from the past of different modes of thoughts and thinking, how you consider it to be in a now days? Thank you.
Yeah, I think the longer we live, the more conditionings, you know, we develop in our mind. So any moment we react to certain situation and we think in a particular way, it becomes the bend of the mind. And the Buddha said that more the themes that you think about, it becomes a bend, it becomes a tendency of your mind. So the longer we live, and we may have more conditionings. But one thing we have to remember, that no matter whatever, how much conditionings, how many habits we have in our mind, though all those things are learned habits. So that they are not necessarily inherent part of us. They have been learned, they have been conditioned. So very fact that they are learned means that they can also be unlearned, unconditioned if we want. So I think still, you know, although we are older, I think still we can. We just need to first important technique is to not to identify oneself with thoughts. Because when we have thoughts, we try to identify ourselves with them, that is me. If you have certain habits in your life, like let's say you have a short temper, and that is me. So we create an identity with that habit. But in fact, it's a learned habit. You have learned that from society, from your family, from whatever, so first thing we need to do is actually loosen that identity, that we are not necessarily thought, And so if you have that mental framework, that like not close identity, and then we can start actually working to decondition. The key is the mindfulness, being able to watch our own mind. I don't think that age is a problem, but of course, we can have other problems like what you call dementia, that kind of, then it's going to be really difficult. But before that, I think we can still decondition. Yeah. Welcome.
Anyone else who would like to ask? Hello, good morning. I'm actually pretty new here, and I think it was really just fate probably that brought me here, because I've experienced quite a lot of stress in the past. I'm actually working, so last May was just pretty stressful for me. So I guess it was really fate that I came about your page in Facebook. I'm actually not even active in Facebook, but I just saw it out of the blue. So I guess I'm very, very happy that I'm here. So probably my question is, up to what extent can we influence other people in our lives to really practice this? Because as much as I want to teach my family about managing stress and opening it up to them, what would be the best approach to teach them about the practices that we just learned now? Thank you.
So, okay, your question is how we can help others, our colleagues, our family, right? Yeah. I think the best way to help them to practice ourselves first. So the best way to help them to show them how we can handle stress. So because the people may not listen to us, but people watch us. So we can talk to people so many times, but they may not really listen to you, but they really watch us. So if we can really be an example in a way, actually, of course, you shouldn't put that stress on you that I had to be an example, but you can just try to use these techniques and try to show there can be an argument, and then you are very mindfully watching your own thoughts and then skillfully responding, not out of urges, not out of automatic reaction, but you choose your words what to say, and and take your time to say what you have to say. So when you do that, other person will find that, oh, what is happening here? So then later they can ask you, how you do this, and then you can explain. So I think influencing the other by our example is the best way to do it. But then later they will be open themselves and they will ask us, and then we can slowly share them what are the techniques that we use. So sometimes when people are already in problems and difficult situations, they really need help, and they ask you help, and then we can share. But otherwise, just going around and try to teach them is not going to work. Yeah. So be skilled, be good in this technique, because this technique requires time, repetition to be really good in that. Using more and more, and we can become so good at it. So first, pay attention to be good at by ourselves, and then we can, and that very effort actually influencing others too. Yeah. Thank you.
Nama Budaya Bhante. I'm Andika from Indonesia.
Yeah.
Well, just I want to ask regarding this about the mantra to overcome stress.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm kind of like hearing this quite a long time before.
Okay.
But I would just use my own experience. So actually, 2 weeks ago, I was being pickpocketed and I lose everything. So of course, as they say, this too will pass. But again, actually, this already, I'm kind of ashamed, but I always, because of a kind of attachment, I think, to be like, this too will pass, quote, quote. then you kind of expecting when I will be able to pass this, and actually you kind of, this kind of train of thought keep coming to you back as a wave, like negativity wave, the anxiety wave that keeps you, how to say, in the worst way, you cannot be, you become insomnia, you cannot sleep every night, because when you sleep, then this train of waving tsunami thought, it keep coming to you, like when I will be able to pass this, when I will be able to pass this. And on the other way, when you know that it's your happy time, then you suddenly also realize that this too will pass. Well, people say that actually you just react normally, but again the negativity comes there, like when I will pass this happy moment, then I come to the negativity. So in other way, I really get it, just how to say, when the bad moment come, I really how to say, suffer because of it. And when then the happy moment come, I also cannot happy of it, because I just really cannot enjoy the moment also. Thank you.
Yeah, but if I understood your question correctly, the first one is when you have that bad incident, and then the thoughts are bothering you, when this will pass, this negative feeling, right? Yeah. So, of course, again we cannot control that. So the moment that you want this to pass very quickly, that means you're again bringing yourself into that whole thing, yeah. But that's really, anybody will, find stressful, difficult, suffering when you lose your identity in many things, right? And so, of course, in that situation, it's normal. It's very normal to feel that. So don't feel upset that I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling lost. Yes, I mean, you had to feel that. It's not wrong. It's not, bad to feel that. We just don't want to continue that. That's all, we have to do. So we experience that. Whenever that experience occurs to you, instead of rushing to get rid of it, fully experience it. Like fully try to fathom that. What this feeling, what this feeling of loss, what this feeling of, so welcome that experience and then explore that. But next time, when you really understand, the next time when somebody else is feeling the same thing, you have deep empathy for that person. You can really help that person to deal with that, because you already went through that. And very quickly, when you try to push it away, and we are doing another mistake, try to be it unnatural, try to push it. The more you really deeply experience it, not really feeding it, because we can also feed our emotion, but we can also experience our emotion. We either feed our emotion, we suppress our emotion. We don't really experience emotion as they are. So that's the important, middle path, we have to do. And we can feel the emotion. Yes, I lost this. I could have lost that also. I could have lost that also. And you revisiting the memory again and again. We can feel that, make that strong emotion stronger and stronger, and transforming that emotion to more other things. But instead of doing that, or instead of pushing it away, you can, okay, let me feel it, how it feel in my body. So the more you experience it, it's normal, it's natural, and it can die by itself, because you don't feed it. I think what happened in your case, maybe you try hard to push it quickly, so without letting it natural life to occur. Any sadness, any emotion has its own natural life. They have their own life, in any breakups, any loss, anything has a certain emotion, it has its own life. We just have to let that life live, but not really prolonging it. We can prolong it by feeding it, but we can let that stay and then go away. So when it comes to happy moments, you are asking that, because everything is impermanent, very moment you start, the happy moment you start thinking, okay, this is going to go, and then you start to suffer. Again, actually, if you really know that this is going to go soon, you better appreciate that moment. So instead of focusing on the loss, you're going to have it, you have that awareness, but then you appreciate the gift. I'm not going to stay in Wisdom Park forever. So I'm sure, I'm sure I had to live. Right? So now I'm enjoying everything, every flow, the details of the flow, everything. And so I'm appreciating it, because I know it's not going to be with me forever. So instead of focusing on the loss, maybe focus on the gift. and start appreciating that in that moment. Enjoy every bit, and then when it's gone, you knew that. So, but you got best out of it. You can be happy. Yeah. Thank you.
What about attachment stress or love stress?
Love stress. Okay.
How do we deal with it quickly or more effectively or more liberating way?
Okay. You mean the relationships, like love relationships? Yeah. Yeah. Means what? And the person do not love you in return. Okay. I think because I'm trying to understand what's the problem there. Because love for me is always one way. Like, yeah, maybe we are talking about romantic love. Maybe that's different. But I think when you start to love, I think that really should be one way. Like you really want everyone to be well, and you just love everyone. Like it's one way. It's not. Yeah, of course, people will love also, but but it's always like a genuine wish of well-being, like going always one way towards everyone. But in a relationship, of course, then we have certain expectation of the other person, and you will get disappointed when the other person is doing well. But I think what we can do in a romantic relationship, you have to have some expectation, because otherwise it will not be like that kind of romantic relationship. Romantic relationship is always challenging. You have to expect that, And it's not always happy forever. It's nothing. Nobody has lived like that. So it's always challenging. You always have moments of disappointments, and then of course you come back. So that's normal. So what we can do actually, we can make your expectation loose. Like have open expectation, not specific expectation. I think the problem comes when you have specific expectation. You expect the other person to do specific things, and then of course other person may not think in the same way, and then you will forget. Like for example, you can think that okay, on my birthday is tomorrow, so you have a specific expectation. It's okay, you expect my partner should do something for me, so that's healthy. You will not feel anything, but you have a specific expectation. Okay, he or she will call me tomorrow early in the morning. And maybe by 12 past, that person should call me. Right? You have the specific expectation, right? So you watch the clock and okay, 12 and 12 past, no ringing in the telephone, and then you feel upset. Because you have a specific to expect. Or you can think that, okay, that person should buy me the chocolate cake that I really like. Right? So next day, the person bought you something else. The person brought you some gift, but not the chocolate cake that you were expecting. And then you feel upset. Not because that person didn't have love for you, because you have specific expectations. So I think the best way to make our relationship works is actually keep our expectation very broad, and not to have a specific expectation. Then I think that can help so much. Yeah. I think when it comes to love, just keep on loving one way. That's the best way to love.